All right, welcome back to State of the Franchise Gaming, and today we're going to go over the 2021 UGL NFL season. UGL standing for the Universal Gaming League, which I joined back at about the middle of August in order to be in this league, which we ended up starting about the end of September, so that we could wait for the scouting update and all that good stuff to go through. Again, I'm going to go over the season Again, we did not make the playoffs, but y'all knew that already because obviously I haven't uploaded or live streamed in about 2 weeks. We finished the season 6-11, losing our last 6 games to end the season after leading the AFC North in week 11. That's 6 straight losses. We had a bye week. It was frustrating, very frustrating. Nothing I was really able to do about it other than play better. Our season high in points was 52 against the LA Chargers in week 5. Season low in points was 9. I think this was one of the rare times in this league anybody scored less than 10 points. That was in week 6 against the Arizona Cardinals, and I think that was that guy's first game playing in it. And yeah, I gave up only 27 points or so, but we only scored 9. So offensive, we're all over the place. And the reason why was because of turnovers. 7 turnovers was the most we had, and that was in week 15 against the Raiders, which we ended up losing. Least turnovers was 0, which you can't get less than 0. That was against the Cincinnati Bengals in week 9, which we won. Biggest injury for us this season, Myles Garrett. We lost him at the midway point in the season, 4 weeks through weeks 9, 10, 11, and 12. That was a huge blow just because we couldn't really generate any pass rush any other sort of way. Our defense is not exactly, it's not built for that. Our linebackers are 4-3 linebackers. They're off-ball linebackers. They're not going to really, they're not going to rush the passer. I did throw in a 34 defense as a kind of a change-up, and then I came to realize this is not going to work for my team. It works for my linebackers. It doesn't work for my defensive line. The defensive line I have does not fit the mold of a 3-4, maybe with the exception of the defensive tackle, and that's only one of them. Clowney is not a 3-4 linebacker by any means. Oh, he's not a 3-4 end by any means. And I mean interior defensive lineman end, if you guys know the difference between 3-4 and 4-3 ends and linebackers. But that's a whole nother story. I could school you on that if I want to. I have coached. Anyhow, offensively, we actually only ended up 11th in yards. Now, most of that is probably from, people throw a lot. And yeah, we did rush for the second most rushing yards of all the teams in the league, at least from a running back standpoint. Nick Chubb, who I will consider our offensive MVP, 2,038 yards, 19 touchdowns. I think he also got a receiving touchdown somewhere in there towards the very end of the season. Defensively, we were 26th in yardage, probably about the same in points given up. And I will credit the defensive MVP to Denzel Ward, 7 picks, scoring 3 times. Offensive line-wise, we had 56 sacks, and surprisingly, only 35 of them were credited to the offensive line. 9 were to the left tackle Willis. Teller was credited with 7, so was Conklin. Treader had 6, and Bitonio right up the middle gave up 5. Now, that caused a lot of problems on offense because, Baker Mayfield fumbled it 16 times. He also had a 59% completion percentage, which isn't good. It's not horrible, but he's had some good games. But most of the problem with his completion percentage is that he threw 40 picks. 40. Now, some of them are typical Madden or Madden BS, and others are just me throwing right at somebody. It happens, believe me. Baker did have 35 total touchdowns, 32 passing and 3 rushing. I think 2 of them were on sneaks. And his longest pass was 84 yards. Now, a bit of a bigger dive into the numbers, and we see we were 4-2 in win-loss record when we had more touchdowns than turnovers, or at least when Baker had more touchdowns than turnovers, and 3-3 when we didn't have any fumbles from him. Mind you, Baker Mayfield has 16 fumbles. He led the league out of anybody, running backs included. Nick Chubb, we were 4-3 when he rushed for 150 yards, which is not what you would expect. I would expect that to be much higher, something like 6-2, 7-1, because that's a really dominant kind of rushing game, from a running back of his caliber. We were 2-1 when he rushed for 200 yards. Now, that says that at times I just said, I'm just going to run the ball because I don't want to throw any picks anymore. It's very annoying. I have brought up to the commissioners or the admins of the league that maybe we should implement something where, guys aren't really able to run around like chickens with their heads cut off. As I've seen, it was a chart, I would throw it up here, from the TFGO league, where, guys are only able to move but one zone from where they started. Things of that nature. You can go from a hook to, you can go from, the yellow to the deep blue. You can go from a yellow to another yellow. If you're on the outside, you can go from a yellow to a flat or a yellow to a purple, curl flat and flat zones and stuff like that. But it's not in the season 2 rules, or season 2 updated rules. So you just got to play with what's in front of you. Whatever, I'll deal with it. All right, as far as our pass game, Odell Beckham Jr., we were 4-2 when he scored a touchdown and 2-0 when he got 100 yards. That either means we need to throw the ball to him more, or we need to get the ball to him more often. I know in the first 5 or 6 weeks, he did not have that many receptions. And on the flip side of that, Jarvis Landry, we're 0-3 when he scores a touchdown. Now, any games that he did score a touchdown, as he scored 14, he did not score more than one. So you see, I was really kind of leaning on him, not so much to be the number one receiver, but more to be like, I need to throw it to somebody, and you're probably one of the only other guys I trust. Odell Beckham Jr., for whatever reason, can't seem to get separation. I don't understand it. I'll heave it deep, and maybe it's OBJ, maybe it's more so Baker, who his deep accuracy isn't that great, and due to morale, a lot of those accuracies started to go down, which made things worse. It was a snowball, domino effect, however you want to word it. It is what it is, and it's what happened. Austin Hooper was also a safety blanket, and we're 4-1 when he scored a touchdown. Now, he didn't score too many of them, but, things play out that way. Now, I'm going to give you guys a preview into the 2022 schedule, and we'll take a look at we'll look at our draft picks. All right, and we begin with our own divisional opponents. Now, obviously, we play 6 divisional games, 2 against each of our other foes, in the Bengals, the Steelers, and the Ravens. The Bengals are the only team we got to win against, and that was the first time I played them. Almost every other game I played, we ended up taking the L. Basically every other game, we took an L, and we pretty much were not in it, most if not all of the game. Specifically the second Steelers game, the 43-48, I got caught off guard. My opponent was going to kick, or what it looked like was going to kick a field goal, and I basically iced him. Now, I later ended up finding out he can't kick if I ice him, but he called timeout, and he ended up lining up in a special teams formation, but it was a fake spike, and I could not audible because Madden is stupid. I couldn't audible to anything else, and I would have won that game because he wouldn't have been able to take a second timeout in a row. But, brown stuff happens. It is what it is. Anyhow, so again, against our divisional foes, we need to beat them. That is the number one reason why we did not win a division, why we did not make the playoffs. As you can see, the team stack on the left, the Bengals, the Steelers, the Ravens, the Browns, we finished last, and that happens. Again, we've got some work to do, but moving on, as far as the other division we play this year, it will be the AFC East, and I am pretty damn sure about this. we will end up playing the Patriots, who are the current 2 seed in the playoffs. I did these graphics right after the regular season ended, so some of these guys might be eliminated, such as the 10-7 Bills, who are the 7 seed. The Dolphins we will play, they finished 4-13. They'll have the number 7 pick. And the New York Jets, who I think are actually a team who are an option to choose. I'm not saying I'm going to change teams. It might happen. If you know me, you know I'm a Jets fan. They do have the number 11 pick, though, and do have a fair amount of draft capital. As far as the NFC, we will end up playing the NFC East. NFC South. Wow, I'm fucking. Yeah, we'll play the NFC South, and we'll end up playing a division that actually was maybe a bit better than what you see on this screen. The Bucks finished 13-4. They were the number 2. They are the number 2 seed. I'm sorry. The Falcons, who were 7-9, they will have the number 6 pick. The Saints, who were 12-4, and they're either the 4 or the 5 seed as of when this graphic was created. I didn't feel like doing it over. And we will play the Panthers. I know they're 1-16. They will have the number 1 pick. I will say this: just because he's 1-16 does not mean he is terrible by any means. Anybody can be beat at any time in this league. And despite the fact he had Sam Darnold lead the league in interceptions, I think at like 60 something, he's a gamer. My dude Andrew Pays is a gamer. He's a baller. I hope he continues. I hope he plays season 2. I want to see him. I want to see him thrive. All right, as far as the other NFC opponents, we will end up playing any team that ended up in 4th place in their respective division, as long as it's not the AFC South, because we play them all anyway. It'll be the Cowboys, who will have the number 5 pick, 4-13. The Lions, who we played and won 36-28. They'll have the number 4 pick at 4-13. And the San Francisco 49ers, 3-13. They'll have the number 3 pick. As far as the 4th place AFC schedule, we will play 2 teams that we have already beaten this past year. The LA Chargers, who we won 52-36. They will have the number 2 pick at 3-14. And the Texans, 27-24 victory, 5-12. They'll have the number 6 pick. Speaking of draft picks, these are the draft picks we have before us now. The UGL commissioner, or UGL commissioners or staff, I don't know what you want to call them, head honchos, they have told us that for season 2, or for the offseason, beginning at the offseason in season 2, we will have an additional trade if we continue on through year 1. Now, our team, we've got 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 picks. We've got 8 picks, including 2 in the 4th and at least 1 in every other round. There may be some moves to be made. Our cap room, as of what I currently see, we're negative $20 million over. Basically, we're $20 million over. And I don't know if that hasn't shifted over yet because the league year hasn't ended. The Super Bowl has not happened. The divisional series are still being played. Divisional round is still being played. You can tell I play a lot of baseball. But yeah, that's what it is. There may be some trade targets. All right, but the direction of this franchise only goes where my gameplay takes it, and secondly, where the personnel that I have on the team, whether they can improve or not. So 2022, it's going to be an interesting season, and I hope you guys are here to see it all. Check out my Arizona Diamondbacks Desert Venom series, which has not gone away. It's just, the month of December gets a little busy and stuff, work, all that good stuff. I'll let y'all next time. I'll see y'all once free agency starts. Peace out.